The original GKD Pixel launched with a sleek metal design and plenty of charm, but limited community firmware support and frustrating charging quirks held it back. Now, the Pixel 2 is here with a new chipset, a sharper screen, and USB fast charging. Is it finally worth the upgrade? I'm Matt, and this is Digital Jedi Gaming. Let's check it out. Alright, before we get into the unboxing, let's talk about what the Pixel 2 is. So the Pixel 2 is a follow-up or an upgrade from the original Pixel, which was released by GKD in January 2024. And it was released as this awesome boutique-esque type mini micro handheld. You know, I say boutique because it's real unique, and it's got this beautiful aluminum shell that's just really well done. It's squared, right? It's kind of squared off and blocky, but they took the time to kind of contour the curves there so it fits your hand really well. And you can reach everything with one hand. The original release had all aluminum buttons. They kind of since changed and went to a plastic button. It was just a really nice feeling device. There were some deficiencies though. You know, the biggest being the operating system. The original operating system is something called IUX. I mean, it was universally just not regarded well, right? So then, you know, almost everybody that had one of these used MinUI. MinUI is great, but I like something a little bit flashier in my devices, so I was not a huge fan of it, right? And you were kind of limited. The original chipset on it was an Ingenic. It was like an X1830 and 128 megabytes of RAM. So we saw what MIUI was able to do with something like that, right? With the MIUI Mini, the 128 megabytes of RAM, and a very similar chipset, not the same one actually. They did amazing things with it, but this wasn't quite as polished as the MIUI was with Onion OS, right? So you could play PS1, but that was kind of struggling a little bit. So with the GKD Pixel 2, I mean, just huge leaps and bounds. This thing is an upgrade in almost every possible way. You know, you got the same beautiful shell. It's aluminum. You got the plastic buttons, the same 2.4, well, not the same, but the same size 2.4 inch screen. But as far as the screen's concerned, they went up and they went to a 640 by 480, so they doubled the resolution on it, okay? Which is going to give you a sharper, more detailed picture on it. You know, you have a 3326, which is probably, I mean, if you've been into this hobby for more than a minute, you know that chip has been around for a while. It's super mature. It's pretty much immortal at this time. You know, at this point, it's never going to go away, you know? So the benefits to something like that is, one, we know what it's capable of. Two, there's a slew of custom firmware. I know that this guy has IUX again, but they have a variation of Rock Mix that's forked off from a 351MP, I believe. So it's already out the box, just a much better user experience than the original GKD Pixel. But with that being said, being a 3326, you know, we should see a slew of other CFW coming out for it. You know, there's already Plum OS out there, which I believe is an offshoot of Amberlec, I think, I want to say. I'm hoping that we'll see ARC and stuff like that. I mean, there should be some really good CFW there, and there should be some really good support for this device. Because in spite of the failures, so to speak, or the downsides of this is still a relatively popular device. The other big thing with this device that you have over the original one is they upgraded the battery. The first battery had a 1300 milliamp hour battery. This one has 1800 milliamp hour battery. They both have USB-C charging on it, but the original Pixel was real finicky about what USB-C chargers it would work with, and you had to be, you know, particular, and typically just using like a traditional iPhone USB-A charger worked well. This guy is USB-C fast charging, so you can use up to 2 amps and pretty much USB-C to USB-C. From what I understand, I haven't tested it much, pretty much any brick works with it, so it's hugely convenient for you as a consumer to have that. The battery being a little bit bigger, you're going to get maybe, you know, realistically 1800 milliamp hours, depending what you're playing, 3 hours maybe, roughly, you know what I mean? So that's a plus to it. Performance you're going to get out of this one with the 3326 and a gig of RAM is going to be a dramatic improvement over that guy here. So you're going to be able to do PS1 and beyond. This thing is powerful enough to do N64, Dreamcast, you know, PSP. Now, you're still going to be limited because of the capabilities of this device in that there's no stick, the size, screen resolution, stuff like that. So, you know, that's a challenge, and we'll talk more about that when we get into it. But, you know, power-wise, it's there. So I can't remember for sure if the Pixel 1 had it, but this guy's definitely got a rumble motor. It's got sleep mode. It gives you the OTG options. So there's a lot of improvements to be had in this guy. You know, currently they're about between 75 and 90 bucks, depending on where you get them from. That's pre-tariff pricing. I don't know what the new price is going to be. It's a solid little device. Enough of that. Let's crack it open and take a look. So, and I've talked about this before. GKD does an awesome job with their packaging. You know, the box just looks so sweet, and it's got a nice little icon on the Pixel on it there. It's just nice and smooth box. It's not like an unbranded box, just really well done. The inside of the box on the other end is just real generic. So you got a quick start guide and the device. GKD doesn't typically include any power cords or anything like that, or quality assurance sheet. So let's get her out of here and take a quick look. So that purple with the aluminum shell is like strikingly awesome. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but this is just, there's a really pretty shine off of it. It's got almost, I mean, it looks so good, man. That looks really dang good. So that's really nice. Comfort wise, so, you know, I don't really like really small handhelds, but I mean, I'll say it's very comfortable to hold. We also have that 45-degree angle there, so it fits in your hand really well. It's a great device for if you're gonna do, you know, if you want to play a Pokemon game or JRPG or, you know, Arkanoid or something like that. You know, you're sitting in line at the post office or the DMV or something, you pull out your pocket and just go, you know, play your games. Or if you want to do something like, maybe you want to play Celeste on Pico 8, you know, you can do that. It's comfortable enough for you to do that. You know, it's not, you know, it's tiny, but it's still comfortable and it's manageable. R1 and R2, they're there, a little bit clicky, not bad. I really wish GKD would raise R2 just a hair, just so that you can feel it and notice there's a difference. But right now it's just completely flat, so that's a little iffy there. But overall, it just feels great. Let's take a look at the Pixel 1, just kind of compare them. So D-pad's about the same size. The Pixel 1 D-pad's a little bit more clicky. The Pixel 2 D-pad's a little bit softer. Face buttons, you know, you start and select are much louder on the Pixel 2. They're rounded as opposed to face buttons themselves. ABXY buttons, softer on the Pixel 2, clackier on the Pixel 1. On the left side here, okay, so you have a regular traditional volume rocker on the Pixel 2, and you have just rounded up volume up and volume down buttons on it. I'm gonna say I like the rounded volume up and volume down buttons on the Pixel 1 better. You know, you can feel it because they're raised on the up and down, but it's clear what's up and what's down on the Pixel 1, right? So you got your micro SD card. It's the same 64 gig Game Kiddy branded micro SD card. On the bottom, you have a USB-C and a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. And remember, this guy does fast charging now. This was a real particular about what charger you have to use originally, so that's a plus. Same side, you have this. This is one of the best features of this device. I know it sounds silly, but the LEDs to indicate the charging levels on it, which is really awesome. Your power button, your menu button, Pixel branding on the back. All right, so hold down power, and I'll show you those buttons. We'll see while it's booting up, and then it tells you the levels in 25% increments, right? So you can see it's got their IUX and powered by Rocknix. So I believe this is going to boot into ESDE. It may boot into that G menu, which is the traditional stuff that the IUX uses. We'll take a look and see. Kind of a long boot time there, huh? Yep, so it booted into ESDE. So now this is a variant of Epic Noir. It's got a couple of UIs, themes built into it. It's got some Pico 8 in there. Pico 8 box art's nice paints. How about Wonder Swan? So there's no box art there, and this is with the stock card. No box art there. So interesting. No box art on any of the systems in this dock card. Let's see the PS1 what's on here. Okay, so but you got a couple different games here. Let's see how PS1 plays. Let's take a look at Crash. So you see the Rocknex thing? That's a Rocknex option, and it's prompting you to do auto start and this auto save state and auto restart, which is pretty awesome. Again, it's a much better user experience than the original Pixel. Hear that? You got one down-firing speaker. That's at full blast. Sounds pretty good. I mean, it's not gonna win any awards for sound quality, but it sounds pretty good for a single down-firing speaker. So that's Crash there. Typically, this is probably not set to the D-pad, so it may or may not work. Let's take a quick look and see. See what we got. First level's loading. So it's not terrible. I don't have huge hands, but I don't have small hands either, so it's not terrible. So it's not playing bad at all. Oh, I fell. I blow. Alright, so not awful, man. It's actually pretty kind of a cool device, man. I like it a lot. I mean, it might change my mind about micros. I'm not a huge fan of micros, so just the screen is just too small. It's just a small feel. Speaking of which, let's take a look at some other ones. Let's look at the Miyu Mini, right? Probably the most well-known small handheld, the most popular small handheld. So this guy's got a 2.8-inch screen. I want to say the chipset is very similar or the same as the original Pixel, but you know, Onion OS optimizes. Onion OS is a game changer, in my opinion. So it's a better performing device. So there's your 2.8-inch screen. The big difference here is this guy is just, it's bigger overall. You see the difference there? So it's more comfortable to hold. But you can still do one-handed gaming, and your triggers in the back are just much better placed on this guy. So, another one that's probably the most popular small hand vertical you can find right now is the Trim UI Brick. Another great device is this has got a 3.2-inch screen, and this has got quite a bit more powerful. This is all one A133p. The device, now this is a better quality feeling device than say your Miyu Mini. It's not quite as premium feeling as the GKD Pixel or the Pixel 2, right? And that aluminum shell and the way the buttons feel go a really long way. You know, this feels great. It's just not quite as fancy as that, but this is way more comfortable to hold. It's just a better experience for me, for somebody like me who doesn't really like small handhelds. This is a better overall experience. But this has got only a few different, softwares that work with it. Right now, I'm running Pack UI on it, which works pretty well. But I'm an ESDE kind of guy. I absolutely love Rocknex, and I love just this layout and this form factor and the user interface. So that's a win for me there, and it definitely feels more premium. Anyhow, that's pretty much the gist of it, man. I dig it. Is it worth it for me to get this little guy? Probably not for me. I mean, I think if you're looking for a small handheld, a pocketable one, I think there's better options out there. Just for comfort and user experience, especially if it's for somebody new, if it's a gift or something like that, I'd go Miyu Mini. Oh, Bill. Can't have a video without Bill jumping, right? I'd go with the Miyu Mini for a couple different reasons. The Miyu Mini, it's more affordable, right? It's more readily available because it's Miyu Mini, it's so popular. And Onion OS is an incredible first device operating system. Rocknix is really user-friendly and easy to use, but you just can't beat Onion OS, you know, especially for a first-time user. Now, overall, I do prefer Rocknix, but the experience here being more comfortable, a little bit bigger screen on it, I mean, a little bit bigger device, a little bit better triggers, I go the Miyu Mini. Don't get me wrong, you're not going to go wrong with this bad guy, but yeah, I still prefer the Mini. Anyway, that was just my quick take on it. Thanks for checking out the video. As always, man, take it easy and keep gaming.